This is the review of Cherry MX Speed and Cherry MX Brown switches. I want to give you a brief history and the reasoning why I have decided to buy a keyboard in the first place. For those of you who don't want to watch the full video, I'll tell right away that Cherry MX Speed is better. But for those of you who want to know some details, let's see those. We have two keyboards here. But we also have membrane keyboards. The membrane keyboards are not always precise. When you press a button somewhere on a corner, not exactly at the center, it means it may not react. You press something but you are not 100% sure whether it was registered, and very often it does not get registered, and with age those membrane switches, they tend to lose the connectivity, and that is very annoying. You type something, you're never sure whether you made a typo or you haven't made a typo, so you always have to check. When I tried this one, guys, and this one, I mean, there is no way I'm coming back to this one ever. But, of course, this keyboard has an advantage, and it's silence. So as you see, it's way more silent. It's way more silent than any mechanical keyboard. It's silent, but right, I needed the keyboard for typing, and I was doing lots of typos, so that was the reason I decided to switch it to the mechanical. However, when I was trying to buy this new keyboard, this Corsair, basically I was trying to buy a Corsair, I was really not sure which switch to buy. I was not sure because, you know, I've tried the blue ones. Previously. Those are extremely loud. I like them, I like the feel of those, but those are extremely loud. So I thought, as the advertisement said, the brown ones are supposed to be really good. There are some like blue ones in between with the blue ones and the red ones. And that turned out not to be exactly true, and I will show you why. And for those of you guys who are not 100% sure what is red, what is brown, what is blue, all those color codes, you know, it's easy to get lost there. So I'll show you this small comparison. As you can see, the Cherry MX red switch, a very popular switch among gamers. So it's very simple. It goes up and down, and this lever, this small piece of plastic, defines at what place this iron actuates. So it's linear. Nothing special about it, no bumps, no sounds, it's just linear. It goes down and then this iron actuates. Brown is very similar to red, but you can see the small bump here on the picture, and as advertised, this bump gives you some tactile feel while typing. So when you type, you can feel this bump, and that's how it's much easier for you to type, at least from the advertisement. And the next one is the blue, a very famous switch that has a bump as a brown one, but also has this moving part that produces some really high-pitched noise. So you feel this noise, and it's much easier for you to type because of the way your brain processes that sound. However, it's very loud and noisy, so it's very difficult to live with a person who uses this type of switch. Even for the person without headphones, it's sometimes very difficult to play games with Cherry MX Blue. All those switches are the most popular, and the rest of the switches are just variations of these three switches. Cherry MX comparisons. And actually, after watching all of these videos, I had some decisions, I had some conclusions, but after I actually tried it, it's way different in personal use. So the problem, guys, with all those high-ranking comparison videos of the switches is that people use the physical switches, but they don't use them in their day-to-day tasks. They don't play games with them. Maybe some do, you know, I haven't seen all the videos, but most of the ones that I've seen, like, people don't play, people don't type, and then they don't describe their feelings precisely enough for me to make a conclusion. So I went even further. I went to a local shop that sold some keyboards. It was HyperX keyboards that used Cherry MX switches, and I tried those physical keyboards. And you know what? It's useless as well. Completely useless activity to try those keyboards, because even though it feels amazing when you try to use them, it's not actually connected to a computer. So what feels physically good maybe not as good when you use it as a typing machine or as a gaming machine. You have to actually connect it, and you have to type, and you have to see the number of typos, you have to see how the gaming experience is. Only then make some decision after some time. So even if you go to a shop, even if you try those switches by yourself, that's a useless activity, guys. For those of you who can return it, yeah, of course it's a better way to do it. Buy them and try them yourself. From the reviews I've seen online, I was very confident that Cherry MX Brown would be the best possible switch for me. Not as loud as the blue, not as linear as red. I was so sure that Cherry MX Speed switches are inferior, because I've read a lot of reviews online from people who ever used Cherry MX Speed had extremely bad performances with typing. These are very sensitive, and people said that they were so sensitive, they made a lot of typos. So I was 100% sure I will not use this switch, but it was a difficult choice, you know. I like the white color, I don't like the switch. I hate the black color, but I was thinking that this switch was the best thing I could get ever. And how wrong was I? For those of you who need some compromises, of course, you can buy white keycaps and put them on top of a black body. And Cherry MX Speed is basically Cherry MX Red, as people say, on steroids. The actuation point is a little bit higher, so it's very sensitive. You press it just a little bit gently and it actuates right away. You know, some people tend to complain about the Reds. People say that Reds are difficult to work with for the reason that Reds are linear and people never know when it actually actuates, so you have to press it all the way down to make sure that you actually press the button properly. And I think that's a valid statement, but the speeds, which are basically Reds but with faster actuation speed, I think this problem of Reds was actually handled there. If you're a light typer, the speeds may be just for you. Let me show it to you how it works. When you press, the MX speeds just like this. As easy like this. Look what happens. It gets registered. In most time it gets registered. However, if you do it with the browns, it will not work. That will not work. Rarely, occasionally works. Not always. You have to press it fully, yes. And that's the case with Reds as well. You have to press them fully. Let's try gaming. CSGO. Let's go. So browns. You see? Well, you have to press them. You have to press them in order to work. Of course, it's a regular keyboard. Feels nice, feels good as well. But when you move to speeds, it's so much easier. It's so much lighter. Even the slightest step gets registered. It's hard to show you on the screen, but the speeds are much more responsive. Any of my movement gets registered. With the browns though, any of my movement gets registered for sure, but I have to press harder for that. It makes more sound. So for the games, 100%, all hands down, the speeds win, for sure. Lots of people complain that it's very difficult to type with Cherry MX Reds, and especially with the MX Speeds. They're so sensitive that whatever you press, you may get an error. But I have to produce very less efforts here because everything is so easy and smooth than I have to do here. I have to work harder here on this keyboard than on this. The exception to these two is blues. I like the blues, I like to type on blues, I like that sound, but it's very loud and it gets annoying, so I had to do a compromise. Browns did not work for me, even for typing, so for gaming these win, and for typing as well this win for me. Maybe that's because of my fingers, maybe I'm a light typer, I like everything precise. Maybe for people who do some loose typing, for those people may be difficult, yes. If you have big fingers, maybe for those people it will be more difficult. If you complain about the typos, well, don't press anything extra in the first place. One mention about the sensitivity. I use these headphones, which are kind of professional, but whenever I use them, sometimes they go down like this, and even the cord may press the button, you see? So that's something to consider. In my humble opinion, browns are inferior blues. They feel something like blues, but Not really, guys, not really. It's nothing like blues. I do feel this bump, but it doesn't help me in any way. It's just a little bit distracting and a little bit annoying. The blues work just fine. I like to type on blues, but the browns, I don't really like this bump. I'll have to sell this one. I hope somebody buys. I hope the guy who buys this one does not watch this video. The caps used on a black keyboard are regular plastic caps. They feel flimsy for some reason. They feel flimsy and they're very slippery. The white, on the other hand, use PBT plastic. That's a different type of plastic. The feel is way different. It's much more premium. It's more tactile, feels better. And from what I've read, the durability is much better as well. However, if you do enjoy the browns or blues, you may buy the black keyboard and you may buy the replacement caps for the keyboard. However, I think those are expensive, about 40 bucks for the replacements. You can buy the set of white keycaps and put them on top of this keyboard. Oh, that's a nice tool they give you. Just like that. Yeah, this, for some reason, this white caps are thicker or something, and it's not that easy to remove them. Oh no, it's stuck. Come on. Yeah, I managed to do that one. This extra keycaps did not go with the package of this white keyboard. It was included in this one, but not in this one. They protrude a little bit. These caps feel much better to the touch. These feel amazing, but this one is a version of cheap plastic caps that use in the black keyboards. I mean, I do like the protrusion here. I like this thing here, this sharp corner. Basically, it makes you find the W much quicker that you would do find it like without it. But apart from that, I don't think it's very important. Like, I mean, if it is important, you can order extra. These are sold on Amazon separately for like $15, I think. And I have to stress how nice the white keyboard looks as opposed to the black one because of the white reflective surface. And it's easier to locate and see buttons and characters on the white one. I mean, this one is not even negotiable. Let's keep in touch, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you later.